Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks and welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we're looking at this ink. This is Kyo-Iro's Stone Road of Gion. And I'm going to go ahead and say up front that I don't care much for this ink, and it has taken me a very long time to get to this review. And here's a little bit of blogger behind the scenes stuff. It's actually kind of difficult to review a thing that you don't like that much, because I tend to try to look for the good in something, and I've sort of sacrificed this pen for a long time by not loving the ink that's in it. So as you can see on this currently inked book right here, I actually inked this this pen up with this for the first time on November 13th of 2017. So this has been 5, 6, almost 7 months in this pen, and I haven't liked this ink. Like, I keep trying, and there's not very much ink left. I've used up most of it. I've really given this a good shot, and I've put in a couple other pens I didn't even bother to write down because I didn't like it enough in there to even write with it much. So here's the thing. This is in my Conway Stewart. It's the only Conway Stewart I have, and I love this pen. It's glorious. I got this Duro Heritage at an auction a couple of years back, and it's great. It's got this amazing italic fine nib in it. It's a very comfortable pen to hold. Here's the thing though, I haven't really used this pen all that much because I don't enjoy this ink. So let's talk about this ink a little bit. And if you like it, great. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it. This is what it looks like, and it's just kind of lackluster. I kept trying to like it because, darn it, I love brown inks. I've got so many brown inks. Brown is one of my favorite color families. That and probably blue are my favorite color families for ink. I can't like this one very much. As you can see here, it's very, very thin and spidery, and that's not because the nib is particularly fine. It's not particularly fine. It's an italic. It's nice and flat. It's got a good flow to it. And I must say, I haven't really had any problems with this one flowing. So I've had some problems with was it Nurabiro or one of those other ones flowing, that kind of stuff, but this one has always been fine. So these Kyo-Iro and Kyonoto inks are all made in Kyoto, Japan, for the store I believe called TAG, or TAG, T-A-G maybe, and they use these traditional techniques, and so these are sort of an old style of ink, and if I'm perfectly frank, I really like the new styles of ink better, I guess, because as you can see, it's just it's kind of lackluster. It's not interesting. It's not dark enough. It's too thin. It actually kind of sucks writing on Rhodia or good paper with it, and it's actually better on bad paper because it's just kind of thin and watery, and it doesn't, it'll be on here and it'll look like it's skipping when I write. Let's see, where's some stuff? So here, this eye, see if I can zoom in some more. It looks like the downstroke in this eye is just kind of not there, and that's because when you do the cross stroke and the cross stroke, and then actually I do a cross stroke, and then I link them. The linkage one there sort of skated because there's not that much ink flow, or it's very, very thin, and it just kind of joined in with the bottom bar. And you get that a lot. In fact, here on the water test bit, that's what was going on here. It was sort of just dragging it, and then eventually enough ink would get on the page, it would catch or whatever. When you write on not great paper, for instance, this is that 20-pound bond Staples copy paper that I use. It actually does just fine on here. I didn't really have any problems. It looks okay too. It's kind of a palish, nutty brown. I mean, it's called Stone Road of Gion. It's kind of a dirty Stone Road color, I guess, maybe. And you can see on the back, it did come through a little bit. That's this line here, of course. You get a few actual spots of bleed, which is disappointing in an ink that's already this kind of thin. I don't know, maybe it's just too watery or something. But anyway, it's not doing it for me. And I call this a skinny review. Maybe I'll start doing these where they're kind of shorter and more toward the point or whatever. But I've tried to like this one for 7 months, and I can't really like it. So let's go ahead and do the water test, and then look at some comparable inks, and then we'll get out of here. All right, so here comes the water. Here comes the water. Get some on the words here. Why not? I say here, it skips so much. These lines, I didn't draw them any differently than I would any other lines, and this Rhodia paper is smaller, but no different from the Rhodia paper I usually use. And yet, And yet, it still just didn't work that well. All right, let's go ahead and mop this up with a corner of my paper towel here. And oh look, no water resistance either. So this, I mean, this just for me, this ink doesn't have much going for it. Maybe there's some other use for it that would be useful. If you get this anywhere near water, I would say even strong humidity or something. Man, that is just not great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chromatography. It started out down here where it's slightly darker. You can see, I think, on the camera where it started, and then kind of all of it flew up the page. And the thing is, I should like this color. I mean, if you look at the browns and like little hints of green and such that are in there, murky green browns are really in my wheelhouse, but this one is just too thin, I think. So here's some comparable ink colors. There's Stone Road of Gion. Let's back up just a skosh. And this is on a coloring card. So kind of medium paper. The Rhodia stuff is coated. This stuff isn't, but it's still pretty robust. I mean, you're obviously not seeing anything come through the back or anything like that. So there you go. And actually, I think this looks pretty good. I was excited to use this ink, but it doesn't work that well in practice. Here is Irisuzuku's Yamaguri, which I've actually never used. And it looks more like greeny brown than I remembered it looking. And then here's another Irisuzuki. Let's go ahead and put those up there at the same time. And I think Tsukushi is the one that I would go for out of these three. It's just kind of a more like a true brown, like a horse, like it's supposed to be. I'm not sure what Yamaguri actually stands for. I do like the swab though, so I need to try that one out. But both of these, and you can see neither of them have these like extreme pale spots like you get in Stone Road. Then here is Papier Plume's Pecan, which looks like it might suffer from a little bit of this wateriness that I see here in Stone Road. And then Platinum's Sepia Black. I haven't, based on this swab, I haven't liked this enough to use Sepia Black yet. I need to one of these days, but I haven't done it. And actually, I don't think I've used Papier Plume's Pecan either. I need to get on the stick, but I mean stick because they're both brown. But I'm just not loving them. And then here's one that I absolutely love, which looks very close here on the coloring cards. But in reality is quite different. This is Sailor's Rikyucha, which is one of my absolute favorite inks, and I think you can pick up some of the like cool greenish brown hints in there. You don't get the wateriness. It works on all kinds of papers. Rikyucha really is the winner. So if you're gonna go for Stone Road of Gion, instead go for Rikyucha or I don't know, something like that, because I think it's just a little bit better. Add to that these are actually fairly expensive, these Stone Road or these Kyo-Iro and Kyo-Iro inks are come in little 40 ml bottles. Where did I put it? I have one around here. And actually, this one I kind of like. I think I've got Kyo-Iro in a pen right now. It doesn't look like this. This is actually just a little bit of residue that was left in the bottle, and I filled it with water. But it comes in this. This is a little 40 ml bottle, and this is $28, which is kind of expensive, I think, for a little tiny bottle of ink. But I mean, that's sort of relative. And if you love this ink, I'd say go for it. This is actually a very usable sort of bottle, even though I didn't use it, I got it empty. Anyways, that's the bottle. And if you want to get the Rikyucha, it's like I forget how much exactly those are going for right now, like $18 or something for 50 mils. So bigger bottle, lower price, better ink, I think. So anyway, there you go. So this has been Kyo-Iro's Stone Road of Gion. Give it a shot if you're into this color and you want to try to see how it works. It doesn't work all that well for me, but tastes differ. I got this from Anderson Pens as a gimme, but you can find it there in bottles for $28. And this is the thing I recommend doing: get a sample. They're 3 ml samples and they're $2.50, so you can get $2.50 worth of this stuff and see how you like it, because maybe it'll work great for you. Maybe you have just the pen and paper needs for it, but I just didn't. So anyway, there you go. I'm a little sad to have that review of Stone Road, but that's the way it goes sometimes. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go clean out this pen so that I can enjoy this beautiful Conway Stewart with some ink that I'm gonna love. So I will see y'all later. Peace out.